For today's review, I'm going to be talking about Castle Freak. This is a damn good horror movie, directed by Stuart Gordon, who of course brought us the classic Re-Animator, starring Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton, also from Re-Animator. So good kind of reunion there, I guess. Few horror movies are as good as Re-Animator. I mean, Re-Animator is just the tits, but this one definitely has a lot going for it. It's kind of like Stuart Gordon going towards more like an Italian type of feel. Like the movie's set in Italy and filmed in Italy, and it almost feels like it could have been directed by like Lucio Fulci or Dario Argento. It has that kind of feel to it. Like when you think of something like Re-Animator, like From Beyond, you think of like these very kind of colorful, high energy, manic, special effects to the wall type of movies. This one definitely goes for a different feel to it. It's a slower moving movie. It's a more, I'd say, character driven movie, but there's definitely very shocking scenes of gore, very indulgent in them, and very gnarly, very nasty. So it packs the punch where it counts, basically. But it's a little bit slower paced. But I like that and appreciate that. It's something a little bit different. Also, what I like about it, like I like any horror movie that can like take a premise that could just as easily be like a comedic premise. Like basically what the story of this movie is: family. We have the father, mother, daughter. They find out that the father is 6 degrees of separation related to a duchess in Italy, and they've inherited a castle. Inherited a fucking castle. Like you'd think that'd be a wonderful, wonderful thing, but of course this is a horror movie, so of course the castle, much like the family, holds many secrets and has many dark recesses. So it's very much a dysfunctional kind of family. Basically, the Jeffrey Combs character, the father, he's a real piece of work. He's kind of a piece of shit, actually. In the past, as we learn, he's kind of had problems with infidelity and especially with drinking. He's a recovering alcoholic. What we learn in a flashback, well, sort of like a dream sequence flashback, is that one night he gets plastered, decides to be driving the kids home. He has his daughter, has his son. He gets in a car crash. The daughter's face is just impaled with glass. It blinds her, and the son is killed. So, of course, this results in his wife being very, very cold from him, understandably so, but also very overprotective of the daughter. That's kind of like a theme running within the movie. She's always very careful with the daughter. The daughter's, disabled, basically. She's blind, so, to have her walking around this castle, she never wants to leave her alone, especially doesn't want to leave her alone with the father, who we learn in a later scene. He's such a shitty father, too. Like, he's, like, reading this book, and she's like, "Dad, come here." And he's like, "Oh, one minute, I'm reading this." And she just walks away, and he loses her, so there's that kind of stuff. So, their marriage is on the rocks, basically. Families kind of torn apart, as they are in these types of movies. But things kind of take a turn for the terrifying when we learn that they're not alone in this castle. In fact, it's being haunted, for lack of a better word, not by a ghost, but by a monster. Not even a monster, actually. The thing about this movie is the creature that we see in this movie, kind of creepy makeup here. This is a regular person. Basically, the Duchess kept him chained up for reasons that are just unfair and horrible and horribly abusive. But he's been kept alive, chained up, fed kind of moldy bread and sausage or salami, I should say, for years and years and years. Finally, the Duchess dies, of course, and he has no one to tend to him any longer. So he's kind of like become this twisted freak over the years, a castle freak, basically. And so, I mean, I think that's kind of an interesting aspect to it, too, where it's not a monster, not a ghost, but it's a real person who's just endured, like, unimaginable abuse and torture and really doesn't know any better. I would almost kind of, I would say, like, with this creature in the movie, I'd say, if you remember Seven, the sloth victim from Seven, how, like, the killer was, like, keeping him alive as he was, like, deteriorating, and, like, his whole face is going, like, ah! if he was just nourished a little bit better, we'd have something like this. So basically, he escapes from his chains. He kind of gnaws his thumb off to get out of the cuff, and he's wandering the castle. The daughter, I guess, because maybe she has a higher perception, being blind for hearing, she knows that they're not alone. And weird things start happening. There's noises. Windows are being broken, mirrors are being broken, things like that. So finally, it's about coming to the realization of who exactly this thing is in the castle with them. What do they want, and how can they escape it? Basically, things definitely take a turn for the more crucial when the monster. Not to give away too much. He commits a murder. And the father is kind of framed for it, and he's trying to clear his name. He's trying to protect his family, trying to win back his family, trying to redeem himself in some kind of way. And I think that's a pretty good character arc. This is definitely a flawed character, and I think Jeffrey Combs actually gives a really, really good performance here. It's definitely not as over the top as Herbert West or anything like that, but it's a complex character, which these types of movies just don't quite allow. Which I find interesting. So I think it's a really good story, and essentially, I'll give away a little bit. The monster is his brother, as we learn, and so it's kind of this two-sided coin thing. Like, how can one brother have all the opportunity in the world and fuck it up so badly, and another brother have absolutely nothing? It's almost like, I don't know if they took inspiration from this or there's some other source. But it's like that episode of The Simpsons, The Treehouse of Horror, where Bart has the brother in the attic who they feed fish heads to. Basically like that kind of a story. So I think it's really good. Lots of spooky scenes. There's some really gruesome scenes too, particularly with the murder scene that occurs. Very, very gruesome stuff, but very good gore, very convincing gore, and good effects, like good makeup effects with this creature. He's definitely a unique and creepy looking guy, that's for sure. And I think the cast does a wonderful job. Jeffrey Combs, of course, really good. Barbara Crampton. You got to figure at some point, Stuart Gordon, he has the actors that he likes. He trusts the actors that he likes. With Barbara Crampton, with stuff like Re-Animator, and especially with From Beyond, you kind of get a sense that she's being in these roles to be the sexy lady or anything like that. Here it's all based on her performance, so you can tell that he chose her because she's a good actress, because she's not getting naked or anything like that in the movie. So she's here because she's a good actress, and I think the coldness between her and Jeffrey Combs is just really, really good and really convincing, and we really buy the strange aspect to it, and the broken family aspect to it. And the daughter, she's good too. The actress's name, Jessica Dollarhide, which I don't think she's done much other than this movie, but she's really good. I don't think she's actually blind, but she does a convincing enough job, I guess, being blind. She's pretty good as the daughter, and I think it's a well-made movie, despite it probably being a little bit lower budget than something like Re-Animator or From Beyond. You definitely can kind of sense that. I don't think there were production problems or anything like that, but there definitely were distribution problems. From what I understand, the movie was supposed to be released theatrically, but there were delays and problems getting it out there. Finally, they just ended up releasing it straight to video. So this is a straight to video movie. What's really annoying and unfortunate is that it's in a pan and scan format, so it doesn't take up the full TV. That's kind of disappointing, but I'd love to see some kind of Blu-ray restoration from Scream Factory or something like that. Give it the treatment it deserves, because I think this is kind of not too talked about of a horror movie. I mean, definitely people know about it, people like it, but not as high as a reputation as something like Re-Animator has. So I mean, that's a little disappointing that it's not out there as much. But definitely, if you can find this, definitely seek it out. It's really worth it. I think it's a really good movie. So definitely check it out. And that's my review of Castle Freak. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit Derek237.com. Stay tuned for more 31 Days of Horror this October. Plenty more scary movie reviews to come. Until then, stay scared, and I'll see you later.